Hi, so in this video I'm going to show you how to use the most powerful and the most commonly used Excel function, which is if function. Um, so we have a little table here which I'm going to use just to give you some examples. We have a list of customers again and gender, and we have M for male and F for female. But imagine if you wanted to have the full name male as opposed to M, and F, and female as opposed to F. So we're going to use if function to get that. So I've already added a column here, so I'm just going to start typing the formula. You start typing any formula always with an equal sign. And you can see automatically this is going to come up here as well. And you type if, and that's quite helpful as well, because that's going to tell you, will remind you what's the syntax. So basically, any if function start with the logical test, which is your test, your criteria that you are testing, then the value that you want to return as a result of this formula, if this test is true, and the value that we want to return if the test is false. So I want to say if this, and I'm going to click on it. I could type it B2 manually as well if I wanted to. So if B2 equals, and now it's important that if I want to type letter M, because this is text, I need to make sure I put it in double quotes. So if B2 equals M, and the quote again, and the comma, as you can see, that becomes active now. So now we need to type what value we want to return in the cell if this cell is equal M. So what we want to return is a word male, and again, because this is text, we need to make sure that we type it inside a quote and a comma again. And the last part now is what do we want to return if this is false. So in our case, if this is not M, then obviously this is gonna be F. There's no other options here. So we're gonna say female in this case. And quote again, close bracket, and hit enter. And there you go. And now we just need to copy the formula down to the very end. We can just drag it, grabbing by the fill handle here, or we can just double click the fill handle, just like that, and that's automatically filled in very nicely. So we have male and female now. So next, I've got another example here I want to show you. So in column F, we want to test whether the person is between 30 and 40 years old. So again, we're going to use the if function for that. Equals if, and now in this case, because we have two criteria, not just one really, because we want age to be between two values, so we need to use AND function inside the if function. So if this is greater or equal to 30, comma, and now the second test, which is this is less or equal to 40, close the bracket to finish the test, comma, and if this is true, we want to return yes. And because yes is a text, we need to make sure you put the quotes as well. And if it's not, we put a no inside quotes again. Close the bracket, hit enter. So this person, for example, is more than 40, 43 years old, and obviously our test was we were testing here whether the person was between 30 and 40, and that's not more than that, so obviously the result is no. And again, we can keep dragging, or we can just double click to fill in the formula. And now the last task here that we want to do, we want to create buckets basically for the amount spent per person. So instead of having exactly a value, we want to group it, and here I've got actually 3 groups. So anything less than 200, then between 201 and 400, and 401 and more. So in this case, we need to use so-called nested if. So there will be more than one if inside the formula. So let's just start typing if this is less than 200, then I want to display this. And now it's important that I hit F4 on my keyboard now. Sorry, F4, and I can also type it here. And this is so that when I then copy the formula down, the reference to this cell stays the same, so it doesn't move down as I copy the formula down. So that's the reason I've got the dollar signs here. I could actually, because I will be copying it down, I could actually put the dollar before the row number, and I don't really need it before the column, but it doesn't hurt either, so I'm just going to leave it like this. So that's the first condition. Then if it's not less than 200, but is between 201 and 400, so another if. And in this case, because we are testing for 2 values, we need to put and. And this is greater than equal to 201, and this is greater than equal to 400, as I've got it here. And close the bracket, and comma. And if this is true, I want to return the value from this cell. And again, I'm just going to put the dollar sign here, so there is no problems when I copy the formula down. And the last one, if the value here is greater than 400, then I want to return the value in this cell. And again, I'm going to put the dollar sign here and the comma. And now the last part is what if none of the conditions is met. So none of this is true, which can happen as well. In this case, it shouldn't, but if ever that would happen, we could, for example, input false. And now, because I've got 1, 2, 3 if statements here, I need to put 1, 2, 3 commas. And then hit enter, and there you go. Because this is more than 400, we have the last bucket. You can just copy it down. As you can see, majority of these values belong to the last bucket, and there is nothing less than 200 in this case. But if you actually change, just check, make sure that it looks fine. You can see that's changing to less than 200. And always remember here that when you're referring to other cells, and you don't want to, you want to make sure that you don't move the reference, then you always need to put the dollar sign before the column or the row number, or both of them. So that's all about if. Thank you very much for watching.